He is T. Roy Aikman. He's the Fox NFL analyst, Pro Football Hall of Famer, won 3 Super Bowls. And anytime a guest brings us beer, we love it. Troy joins us on behalf of 8. For the drinker who consistently puts in the hard work as we do, Troy and his team are conscious of what we put into our bodies and the options for a light, refreshing beer that's brewed with organic ingredients virtually non-existent until now, as we make way for Troy Aikman, number 8, looking good.
How we doing?
Hi, buddy.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
That's all right.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
You look like you could still play. Man, you look like you've added some muscle there. What are you benching?
Maybe.
Right, well, let's do the
maybe.
Troy Aikman benching contest.
Yeah.
One rep. Paulie, I'll start with you.
Oh, boy. He's looking pretty good. I'm going to go 265 for one rep.
65. Seton?
I'm going 355.
Whoa.
Fritzy?
Aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 317.
I'm going to go 1 rep.
Am I going to answer?
250.
Am I going to answer that question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I don't.
Wait, you don't bench?
I don't do. Well, not. I do dumbbells.
Okay.
And I don't do like one time. I'm not Larry Allen, you know. I mean, I don't do one. You know.
In your day.
And I'm not that young anymore.
In your day, what could you bench?
325.
Oh, whoa. Nice, okay. All right. Yeah. What could Larry Allen bench?
I think he's on YouTube. I'm going to get it wrong. Was it 700 pounds or something? I mean, it was like a Volvo.
Is he the strongest man you've ever been around?
Yeah.
Like not even close.
Not even close. A man of few words, and I mean, obviously a great player, but by far the strongest.
Feels like he's underrated.
Really?
Like you forget because, you know, he never was somebody who was out doing interviews. He never talked himself up. I know defensive linemen knew about.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy who could be all-pro at guard, and then we lost our tackle, and he moves out to tackle. He was all-pro at tackle, and, I mean, he could do anything. He was – yeah, I know that maybe amongst the public for sure because he was so quiet, but I think amongst those that played with him and certainly those that played against him, nobody – they called it the Larry Allen flu, that guys would just not be able to play that day. You know? So.
We brought this up last hour. Better athlete, Deion or Bo Jackson?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I'd have to say Deion because he's my teammate, but no disrespect to Bo Jackson. I think both of them. I think if you talk about underrated, I think what those two were able to do and do it at the level that they did it is pretty remarkable. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I'm sure you played all sports. I played baseball and football and basketball, and baseball was my first love, and I felt that, you know, I maybe could have gone on and played collegiately. And I think there's something inside all of us that thinks, yeah, maybe you could have made it in the big leagues. But, I mean, those guys, they play for real. And to be able to do both, it's an athlete that we just don't know about.
Were you a pitcher?
Pitcher and shortstop. And I was getting looked at to get drafted by the Mets. They wanted me as a catcher or an outfielder, which I'd never done. I'm not sure why, but they wanted me, but they didn't want me doing what I'd been doing, so I don't know how that worked.
And then Tom Brady got drafted by the Expos as a catcher.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that.
Yeah, I think drafted.
I think I knew everything else about Tom Brady. I've had enough of his games, but I didn't know that.
Do you get tired, though, when somebody comes up and says, oh, hey, so do you know Tom Brady? Or what do you think of Tom Brady?
Not so much with that, but you know, they usually want to tell me that they know Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, and well, so do I. You know.
Do you ever get confused
about what
on the street? Like if somebody comes up to you, they hey.
I was going to say, who I get confused for a lot is John Elway. And when I'm in Colorado, then it is only more. But if I ever get confused for somebody, it's usually John. And I finally asked John, hey, do you ever get confused about me? He goes, all the time. And the other one is Harry Connick Jr., which I think when people see me, they know quarterback, and you know, I understand maybe why there's some confusion with me and John, although I don't think John and I look alike either. But the Harry Connick, I really don't quite understand.
That's a good comparison, though.
Which one?
Harry Connick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take it.
I mean,
I feel bad for him. It's an upgrade for me. I do know that. So
Yeah. And Harry Connick
well,
Jr.
now people are starting to say I look like Jay-Z. So I don't even, there's some meme going around. I'm like, okay.
What was it like to be single and be the quarterback of the Cowboys?
It was good. It was good.
Is it dangerous?
I wouldn't say dangerous. I think my biggest problem was it wasn't a Cowboys rule. It was a cheerleaders rule. You couldn't date the cheerleaders. But I still did some, and it didn't fare well for those cheerleaders when people found out. But
Wait,
but
you
that
couldn't
was the
save
only
their
thing
jobs?
Could I save their jobs? No, I couldn't. They're a totally separate entity. But yeah, it was good.
You'd rather talk about beer than you would
Yeah,
your dating life.
Yeah.
When did you get to the point where you go, I'm going to make my own beer?
2 years ago, and I worked at a beer distributorship when I was in college, and have had a lot of friends that are in the business. But I never thought I'd make beer. But I met my now partners through a mutual friend, and we started talking about it, and felt that if we could do a light beer, a low-cal, low-carb beer, something that complemented my lifestyle, that'd be great, because we felt that what was in the marketplace had been there a long time, needed something new, something fresh. And so 8 then was born, and what's unique about this beer, Dan, is that it has no adjuncts and no fillers, meaning no corn, no rice, no syrups, no added sugars. It's 100% organic grains. So I always refer to it as a better-for-you beer. I work out. My health and wellness is really important to me. But I also enjoy times with family and friends, and I like beer. So to be able to make a beer that I felt complemented the hard work that you put in during the week, we made this, and it's been really well received. It's exclusive to Texas, and really fired up about it. We just launched February 1st, and we'll be in stores in the spring.
So this is bootlegging right now outside of Texas.
It is bootlegging. Yeah, those cans, let me tell you something. Those cans are hard to get. They're a hot commodity. Do you like the packaging?
Yes. Yeah, it's clean.
Well, you don't act as excited about it as I am.
I haven't had it. I like a beer.
Okay.
I'm not here to look at the package.
Okay,
I want to drink it.
But look at that. I mean, that's.
It's 7:30 in the morning, Troy. Come on.
Well, I was asked what it pairs with, what kind of foods it pairs with, and I said, heck, it pairs with bacon and eggs if you want it.
Did you ever play a game where you were hungover?
No, heavens no.
Well, you have a lot of quarterbacks who have in history.
Yeah, no. I never drank before a game, and have never been a real big drinker to begin with. But now after games, I'd wake up the day after games with some hangovers, especially after some Super Bowls.
Yeah. Best Super Bowl that you celebrated after?
Probably the second one in Atlanta. The first one. We were all new at it. We had a team party, and you get there, and the parties are all sponsors. And so I was late getting to the party. I was held up at the stadium for interviews and things of that nature. And then you get to the party, and you couldn't even find your teammates. So I left and then wound up hanging out with a bunch of media guys at the bar. And then the next year, fortunately there was a next year, went back and had a little better plan. And so arranged to have a private room with teammates and then a few people that were in town. It was awesome. I mean, you can only imagine. It's the greatest night of your life to win a Super Bowl, and then the celebration that takes place after. And I'm jealous because Stafford or Burrow won. They're going to get to do it this week.
But you never went to Michael Irvin's after Super Bowl parties, did you?
I did not.
Did you get invited?
I'm sure I did. I think Irvin, he takes all comers. I mean, I think you just show up, you're invited.
How would you guys have done with social media?
We would have been all right. I mean, it definitely impacts the activities, but I think that players would be smart. I think the players of my era, not just my team, but I think the players of my era would have been smart about it, and I think the players are now for the most part. It's definitely had an impact. It's had an impact on our business. I'm sure it's had an impact on your business.
Yeah.
But even broadcasting games, social media has had an impact on what we do.
How do you take criticism as a broadcaster as opposed to how you took it as a quarterback?
Well, I think I take it well. I've always been good at constructive criticism, and I will say I do read the tweets. I mean, I not all of them. But I read them. I find them pretty funny. There's some funny guys out there. Some pretty. You read them, you start laughing. If you don't take it too seriously. But yeah, I think even though there wasn't social media when I was playing, I do think that the criticism you take as a franchise quarterback, especially in Dallas, it can be pretty intense when you're not playing particularly well. I think it prepares you for whatever you get into after that when there's public scrutiny. And I think it helped me in this job that you just understand it's just part of the job and you don't really let it affect you too much.
We've talked a lot about the Bengals offensive line going against the Rams defensive line. As a quarterback, how do you make your offensive line better than what it really is?
Get the ball out of your hands. Really. That's essentially what it is.
But the Rams know that too.
Right. So everyone the Rams play, that's the formula. And then they try to run the ball. Because if you just get into a game where you're throwing the ball, then it's almost impossible. There's not many offensive lines, if any, that can hold up against this group. So you've got to. It becomes a team effort in order to beat the Rams. You've got to have a defense that holds the score down so that you can continue to run the ball. And even if you're not running the ball that effectively, you've got to be able to stay with it and then get the ball out of your hands quick and then max protect when you can to take your shots down the field. I think if you look at when San Francisco Week 10 beat the Rams, they ran the ball 44 times. They didn't run it particularly well. They only had 3.5 yards per carry, but they got 44 carries in that game. But the big thing is they converted on third down. And that ultimately, if you're going to play that style of game and try to shorten the game, play great defense, keep the score down, you've got to offensively convert on third downs. And if you don't, then you're in danger of the game getting away from you.
How would you describe Joe Burrow if I had never seen him play?
I love the way he plays. I love the way he played in college. What I like about him most, however, and why I think he is a great player, because they all have ability. I always hear the phrase, this guy can make all the throws, and I don't even know what that means. I know what it means. It means he can make all the throws, but who the hell can't make all the throws? If you can't make a throw, you probably shouldn't be a starter in the NFL. There's only 32 of these jobs, and so he's really talented. But I think when you start looking at quarterbacks, because it's always a flip of the coin as far as who's going to be successful as a first-round pick and who's not, who's going to make it, who's going to be regarded ultimately as someone who didn't live up to his billing. I think there's more to it. I think it's the intangibles, and he clearly has it. So he's got an edge to him that right from the beginning, even last year, right from the start, and even when he was coming out of college, you could just tell this guy's wired a little bit differently. Nothing's too big for him. He's confident. He's going to be able to come in and compete. And then the organization did a good job around him. But I'm a big fan. A big fan of his. Love everything about him. Love the way he carries himself. I wish I had as much swag as he did in the locker room. The cigars are awesome. The whatever he's doing. And, the whole package is phenomenal.
But were you cocky at any point in your career?
No. It's just. No,
internally?
I was confident. I was confident, but I would never have been described as cocky or brash. And I think that he walks that fine line to where I don't think he's offensive. I think he handles questions extremely well, even controversial moments. When he's been kind of drug into some things because of what people have said, he handles it all very well. And so I'm excited to follow his career. I hated when he got injured, with the knee, and how was he going to respond to that? But I'll go a step further. A few years ago, it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. They make it to the AFC Championship game, a franchise that hadn't had much success. And then last year it was Cleveland Browns. and you think of the dog pound and all the great Browns fans over the years and hadn't had much to root for. And now the Bengals, I love seeing it. I love it. It's great for the NFL. It's great for those cities that have those fans that haven't had a chance to really get excited for postseason play. And what he's done and Zach Taylor and all of them is great. Hats off to that organization.
But, it's almost like they get a hall pass. I know the Bengals want to win. Maybe they don't, people don't expect them to win, but they do. But then you juxtapose that to Matthew Stafford. Like the pressure on the Rams playing a home Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if he wins, he's probably going into the Hall of Fame if he wins this Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That pressure, like when you won your first one, what was the pressure like when you went back for the second time when you were expected to win?
Well, there's still that pressure. I mean, I wouldn't say because we had won a Super Bowl that then there's not as much pressure.
There'd be more, I would think.
Yeah, in some ways. Yeah, I think in some ways. I think it's how I heard Matthew Stafford, and it's something that they talk about internally, and I know Sean McVay does, that, and I like this phrase, that pressure is a privilege. I like that because you have to play in big games in order for there to be pressure. I'm not going to name teams. I've done that before, and then the Twitter world wakes up, and then they, but there are teams in this league that don't feel much pressure, and when they get out of September, there's no pressure on them. They just go play. And for Matthew Stafford and the Rams, when Stafford was traded for, to know, I mean, the questions were always, and we had their games, is how's he going to play in the big game? How's he going to handle this? Because in Detroit, he didn't win a playoff game. He didn't have a good record against teams with 500 records and all of that. And what he has proven is what I knew and really what my career was about. If you have good players on your team and you have good coaching, as a quarterback, you have a chance to play well and have a really good year. And he's been able to do that. He's played great. He's been a big part of it. And I'm just really proud of Matthew. I've known him. He grew up in my backyard where I live now in Dallas. And I've been real proud of how he's handled the pressure of this year and the expectations. He wanted to go to L.A. He wanted to do what he's doing now in L.A. and Detroit. I talked to him before the draft. I said, do you really want to be drafted by the Lions? The Lions obviously weren't very good at the time. And he wanted to turn that program around, and it unfortunately just didn't happen for him. But I know Lions fans respect him and appreciate him, and they're out in droves to support him. And for the Rams and Matthew Stafford to be in the Super Bowl, which is what the only expectation was, of course the plan is to win it, is pretty remarkable. It usually doesn't happen that way.
Do you hold a grudge against any player?
No.
No. Nothing that happened in your career, cheap shot?
I don't hold a grudge against anyone in my life right now. And it's a good feeling, not to get weird, but I've been meditating for about 8 years, got into mindfulness and it's part of the whole wellness program, which circles back even in a roundabout way to the beer. But I don't have a grudge. I have no resentment towards anyone and it feels good.
Did you have a grudge against somebody after you retired?
I mean, back in the day, you at one time, but no, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. No. Yeah.
There are other guys in the media.
I would say,
I can name a couple that.
No, I'm kidding with you. I can tell by your face, like, oh no. Sometimes my timing's not as good as it needs to be, on my delivery. But no, I've always loved being on your show because I was just commenting before I came on that the reason I've enjoyed it so much is the questions that you ask are questions I don't get asked. They're always outside the box, and I like that. So, I've always thought the world of you. But yeah, I've had grudges in the past, and then I've just learned that ultimately you're the one who suffers from that, and so I've been able to reconcile those, and now some of those that I feel like that we did have grudges against one another. Are some of my closest friends, which is amazing.
Final question: are you sending us beer?
100%.
Okay, all right.
100%.
Fair enough. Because I might crack one, but after 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, we wait.
I mean, that's the discipline you want, and that's what I've got.
Hey, it's 8 o'clock somewhere.
He's T. Roy Aikman, as Michael Irvin calls. Why did he call you T. Roy?
Well, they used to call me Roy.
Okay.
A lot of people do call me T. Roy, and I think, it's kind of like A-Rod or, however. There's a T and then there's a Roy, so it's T. Roy.
No, I got it. I understood it.
I mean,
I know.
you help this guy
I'm
out
a
here?
little slow. Oh, that's right. It's T and it's Roy.
There you go.
The beer is called 8 for the drinker who consistently puts in the hard work. Troy and his team are very conscious of what they put in their bodies, and it's a light, refreshing beer that's brewed with organic ingredients, and those kind of beers are virtually non-existent. Congrats on this.
Thank
Good luck
you.
with this. Always
Thank you.
great to see you. That's T. Roy Aikman.
Appreciate it.
We'll come back. More phone calls after this.
So Dan, we were going to audition if Troy ever needed like a spokesperson. You know,
Oh,
I know
for
we're not,
8?
Yeah, we're not, we can't push product good. I was thinking, my thing. Now, I look like an athlete. Okay, because I'm not.
It's for people with a fit lifestyle, and clearly.
But guys like me can still drink it, right?
I mean, look at y'all. Clearly,
For those of us who are conscious about what we put in our bodies.
you four fill
8.
the bill. I mean, so
You really do.
y'all are good.
But is this sort of an 8 in there with?
Yes.
Look at
yes.
that.
Okay, I see what's
The
happening
logo's
now.
a colon, but on a white can.
Very nice.
Hold it, tell me.
you
It's
got
like
the
an 8.
See?
Yeah.
See, we're kind of
Picked up on
underappreciated.
that.
He was questioning my intelligence not too long ago.
T. Roy. It's
T.
like
Roy.
Troy.
It's like Troy.
Four letters of his first
Except
name.
different.
How would you?
I would say first rate, don't wait, don't be late. 8.
Freestyling.
And he doesn't drink though.
I'll try
No,
this one.
no. Like he'll drink Dr. Pepper and Mountain
Very
Dew.
nice.
I saw him have a
What are you
beer
drinking
yesterday.
now?
I saw it.
What?
He had a full beer yesterday.
I did. I drank like some
Yeah,
kind of
because
cream ale.
there were women.
Yes.
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Trying to impress them.
Yes, he won't drink unless there's a pretty woman there.
She's like, just try it. Okay.
Yeah, he did. All right. You need to take that.
No, I'll leave it for you.
Okay, awesome.
Cool
Yes.
them down and
Pleasure.
try it.
Yeah.
Always
Hey,
great to see
thank
you.
you.
Dan, you're the best.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks for taking
Take
the time.
care.
Thank you, bud.
Always
All
great
right.
to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You got it.
That's
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
time.
you.